depends what you're at, and you get rejected.
Work instead of having cocktail.
Lavish ones. You know, some of the solutions
Considered to be the old, even though you set up a neighborhood killed so easily. So that's very important.
Social media have become the great equalizer for small companies competing in the marketplace. Mom and pop companies taking on corporate giants? Maybe. We're here to share some insight on how the social media part of the battle is playing out. Myra Burks-Davis, the CEO of MBD Strategic Communications. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Has this really been the thing that has taken the small companies into the big fight?
It absolutely does equal the playing field in that a small company, a mom and pop shop can be global, and that might not have been a consideration at one point in time. The internet just opens up a wide array of opportunity, even for that small business owner. Some of the examples we'll have today, we'll talk about some of the larger companies today, but there are some very significant things that have happened. And anecdotally, there was a woman that I know that's a celebrity makeup artist. She wanted to get in touch with the president of Target. So she did the conventional thing, which was to pick up the phone, and she was kind of pushed around. He said he wouldn't speak to her in that way. She tweeted him and went through the same circle and got to speak with him.
Wow.
You know, so it does, I mean, she's not a big corporation. You know,
it conveys a sense of credibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There were several things I was looking at, some of the information you gave us. We talk about how to, it's a cost-effective way to maintain a buzz. Almost half the customer base of every business has an online presence.
Right.
It erases the geographical boundaries. We talked about that. And there's no better platform than social media to create a brand image.
Right. And it's because there are different personalities to each one of the social media platforms, but the common denominator for all of them is that they bring you to where your customer base is, where your consumer base is. And that being the case, you're kind of taking your messaging, kind of taking it to the streets. You know, you're there where people are. People are communicating on Facebook. They communicate differently on each one of these platforms. So the expectation from that base is a little bit different about your messaging. You know, for an example, on Facebook, that's a very community-spirited type of environment. Absolutely fabulous for building brand loyalty because there's that interaction and a sense of relationship. People on Facebook, though, are not looking for you to hit them with the hard sell. They're not looking for that hard push.
Right, they're turned off by that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you're going to go to another site, or another media, which might be Path or?
Well, it might be something like Twitter.
Okay.
You know, I mean, one of the things that any business needs to keep in mind is that social media in and of itself is not a monologue. It's a conversation. So though Twitter's pace may be faster, Twitter's pace may be one in which you get out quick burst of information, maybe tying someone to a link of your web blog or post, something like that. People still don't want to be hit over the head. There still needs to be some engagement and content that's provided that's relevant to your consumer base. So for all those things, it's really important to define who that consumer base is.
So is this just akin to maybe speaking different languages? Each platform maybe is a different language or a different way of saying the same thing?
It's definitely a different tone. There is a different tone and there is a different way to convey it. You know, there's nothing more annoying maybe to a geek like me to be on Facebook and see someone using the hashtag sign, which really has no relevance on Facebook. If you understand these platforms, the hashtag sign, which is the pound sign that you'll find on like your telephone, used in Twitter is a great search tool because a person doesn't have to specifically know me, but if I've been clever in my use of the hashtag, it's a way to search. So for an example, if it said pound journalist, you know, people who go pound journalist will get a list of everyone who has said something relevant or used that same type of definition.
Interesting. But that's only on Twitter.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean much on Facebook.
Gotcha.
People do it all the time, but it's not relevant.
Let's talk about the amount of resources. If you're a small company and you're really being very careful about how you divvy up your resources, what amount of your budget or your resources do you devote to social media? How important is it?
Social media, as we've talked about before in the past, and I'm a definite believer in this, it's part of what you use in your marketing. And unfortunately, a lot of small companies don't dedicate enough to their marketing budgets, and it's usually a challenge for a small business. You have larger companies who, whether, if their leadership sees the value in this, they will dedicate those resources. And sometimes it's, as with a small business owner, it may be a situation where you're going to do some of this yourself. You're definitely going to need the research. But if you're not quite ready yourself to take that on, you're going to have to dedicate some amount of money to dealing with a professional who can help guide you in your marketing efforts, period, and show you how this could be part of your toolbox. It's not your whole toolbox.
Right. But marketing is key. I mean, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't market it, nobody knows.
Absolutely. You're there doing all this great work and nobody knows about it. So you have no customers.
All right. So we got to learn this social media stuff.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you,
I
that's
agree.
something else.
I agree.
Technology is incredible.
It is. It is. It is. And it's been very beneficial to some companies. We had an example of a particular company that had run a campaign for a new bean variety. I think it was Heinz. And just to show how some specific things, that's a big company, but it could get lost amongst a bunch of other big companies. And if you just bear with me, some of the results of a 2-week campaign that was a Facebook quiz app in which it asked people to fill out these particular questions, and it would tell them what kind of personality trait bean they had become. This 2-week campaign, which gave a coupon to try the product, it awarded people every 5 people an hour and asked them to bring 10 more people in. Over 22,000 people took the quiz to apply for this personalized bean. Okay, more than 10,000 users shared the application. The campaign reached 10.8 million people, and as a result, on this Heinz Facebook page, they had 30,000 more new users or fans.
So it pays off.
Right. It can be very definitely something that you'll see results in.
Wow. Myra Burks-Davis, thanks much. Always insightful. We'll talk more about marketing.
Okay, very
another
good.
time. Thanks.
Thank you.